Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Bears fans, the draft is over, the big picks have been made, and everyone is still arguing about the offensive lineman and the wide receivers Chicago selected on day 2. But here is a little secret that the most die-hard Bears fans already know. Some of the most important players on any NFL roster were never drafted at all. Never. Not a single pick used on them. They were guys who walked into training camp with a chip on their shoulder the size of a boulder, outworked everyone in front of them, and carved out NFL careers that nobody predicted. The Chicago Bears have their own version of that story, and they have it multiple times over just in recent years alone. Tyson Bagent, undrafted. Josh Blackwell, undrafted. Ja'Day Walker, undrafted, caught a touchdown against the Packers in December. These are real contributors on a real roster, built by guys who refuse to accept that their NFL story was over before it started. And right now, heading into rookie minicamp at Hollis Hall, the Chicago Bears have a fresh batch of undrafted free agents who deserve every bit of your attention. Today on Bears Focus, we are breaking down 5 UDFAs who have at least a legitimate puncher's chance of making this 53-man roster, and a couple of them might genuinely surprise you. Let's get into it. Let's start with a man they call the Vanilla Gorilla. And yes, that is a real nickname, and yes, it is absolutely perfect for what this guy is. Caden Barnett, offensive lineman out of Wyoming, is arguably the most immediately intriguing undrafted free agent the Bears signed in this entire class, and the contract they gave him backs that up in a very real way. The Bears signed Barnett to a deal that includes $277,500 in total guarantees with a $30,000 signing bonus. In the world of undrafted free agency, that is not a small number. That is a statement. That is an organization telling a player, we believe in you, we want you here, and we are putting real money behind that belief. When an NFL team backs up its words with that kind of guaranteed cash for an undrafted player, you pay attention. So who is Caden Barnett and why do the Bears love him? He is a 3-year starter out of Wyoming who finished his college career with 35 total starts, splitting time between right tackle and right guard. The versatility is the first thing that jumps out, because in Ben Johnson's offense and under offensive line coach Dan Rochar, the ability to play multiple spots is not just a nice bonus, it is a genuine prerequisite for competing for a roster spot. Barnett started 23 games at right tackle and 12 at guard, and he has even spoken openly about his ability to slide inside to center in a pinch. That kind of flexibility is exactly what a backup offensive lineman needs to stick on an NFL roster. You cannot carry a guy who can only play one spot. You need Swiss Army knives, and Barnett presents himself as exactly that. The athletic profile is what really makes this interesting, though. His relative athletic score, which measures athleticism relative to other players at his position, came in at a 9.54 out of a possible 10. That ranked him 82nd out of 1,780 guards evaluated since 1987. Think about that number. Out of nearly 1,800 guards going back almost 4 decades, Barnett's athleticism puts him in the top 5% at his position. For a wide zone blocking scheme like what Ben Johnson runs, where linemen need to move laterally, get to the second level, and create running lanes through footwork rather than just brute force, that kind of movement ability is incredibly valuable. Draft analyst Dane Brugler noted that Barnett needs to develop better consistency with his sustained skills, but that the mental and physical tools are there for him to grow into a solid backup and potentially more. He will appeal to scheme-diverse teams, and that is exactly what the Chicago Bears are. Now, is the path to the 53-man roster easy for Barnett? No. The offensive line room is crowded. Jordan McFadden is a backup guard who started a playoff game and played well. Luke Newman was a 6th-round pick last year who showed some good things. Barnett would likely need to outperform one of those players to earn a roster spot. But here is the thing. That competition is exactly the kind of environment that brings out the best in players who were overlooked. Barnett knows what the stakes are. He knows the guaranteed money the Bears gave him signals real interest, but not a guaranteed spot. He is going to walk into rookie minicamp at Hallis Hall and try to punch somebody in the mouth right off the ball. His words, not mine. And that mentality combined with his athletic tools gives him a genuine shot. Keep your eyes on the Vanilla Gorilla this summer. Next up, and this one is a fascinating case study in late bloomer development, is Jaden Loving, the defensive tackle out of Wake Forest. Now, on the surface, you might look at his college resume and think he is just another small school project with uncertain NFL upside. But dig a little deeper, and the picture gets very interesting very quickly. Loving is a transfer who did not do much early in his career before arriving at Wake Forest, where he suddenly and completely popped. 8.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, 25 pressures, and critically, a pressure rate that genuinely impressed evaluators who watched his film. The Bears gave him a couple $100,000 guaranteed as well, which tells you they view him as more than just a camp body. What makes Loving particularly relevant for the Chicago Bears right now is the context of the defensive tackle room heading into 2026. Grady Jarrett can be cut after this season if things do not go well. Neville Gallimore and Kentavious Street are on one-year deals. Gervin Dexter is in the final year of his rookie contract. That is a lot of uncertainty in one position group, and what that means for a guy like Loving is that there is a genuine developmental runway here beyond just this season. The Bears are going to need defensive tackles in the future, and if Loving can develop for a year on the practice squad and show during camp that his athleticism is translatable to the NFL level, he could be in a very interesting spot by the time the roster starts turning over. Draft evaluators noted that his movement ability is rare for his size and that his pro day created genuine buzz among NFL scouts. That does not happen for every undrafted defensive tackle out of Wake Forest. Give him time under NFL coaching, give him a real conditioning program, and see what that movement ability looks like when it is refined and channeled. The ceiling here is worth exploring, and clearly the Bears agree. Now let us talk about one of the more creatively interesting roster fits in this entire UDFA class, and this one requires a little bit of imagination to fully appreciate. Hayden Large, the tight end out of Iowa, is not a traditional tight end in any conventional sense of the word. He is not the guy you are drawing up route trees for. He is not splitting out wide in the slot and running crossing routes against a linebacker. That is not his game. What Hayden Large is an H-back, a fullback hybrid, a lead blocker who can line up in the backfield, go in motion, and give a defense an entirely different look and personnel problem to solve. And here is why that matters enormously for what Ben Johnson is trying to build in Chicago. Ben Johnson has made it very clear throughout this offseason that he intends to lean heavily into 12 and 13 personnel groupings, formations with 2 or even 3 tight ends on the field simultaneously. He wants to create mismatches, confuse defensive coordinators with pre-snap motion, and force defenses to commit to run or pass based on personnel rather than formation. Colston Loveland is your elite receiving tight end. Cole Kmet is your most well-rounded all-around guy. Sam Roush was drafted to be primarily a blocking tight end with upside as a receiver. And then Hayden Large slots in as the 4th tight end, the fullback hybrid, the guy who brings a completely different skill set that none of the other 3 possess. If Ben Johnson is serious about running those multiple tight end packages, having a dedicated lead blocker who can line up in the backfield and sell run before releasing into a route is exactly the kind of chess piece that makes a creative offensive mind like Johnson dangerous. Large also brings significant special teams experience from his time at Iowa, which is one of the most respected special teams programs in college football. That alone gets you onto NFL rosters. The combination of a unique blocking skill set, special teams value, and a personality fit for what the Bears are building makes Large a genuinely intriguing 4th tight end candidate. Let us shift to the running back room, because the situation there is a little bit more open than most people realize right now, and it creates a very real opportunity for Coleman Bennett, the running back out of Kennesaw State. Here is the honest roster reality for the Chicago Bears at running back. DeAndre Swift is your starter, Kyle Manungai is your clear backup, and after that, the RB3 role is genuinely up for grabs. Roschon Johnson has injury concerns, concussion history, wrist issues, knee problems that cast a shadow over his long-term viability as a reliable 3rd option. With Travis Homer gone from the roster, The Bears need a third running back who can play on special teams, contribute as a pass catcher out of the backfield, and be durable enough to carry carries in an emergency. That is the role Coleman Bennett is competing for. What Bennett showed on film at Kennesaw State is genuinely eye-catching. 27 receptions, over 300 receiving yards, 7 total touchdowns, including a screen pass where he made 2 guys miss, broke another tackle, and took it 60 yards for a score. He is not the fastest runner in a straight line, but out in space, in the open field with the ball in his hands after the catch, there is a shiftiness and a contact balance that translates. His pro day numbers supported the athleticism argument as well, a 4.25-second shuttle drill and a 10.4 broad jump that would have ranked third among running backs at the combine. Those are legitimate athletic markers, not just small school hype. The question for Bennett is special teams. If he can demonstrate the ability to contribute meaningfully on coverage and return units, which is how you survive as an RB3 on an NFL roster, he has a legitimate shot to stick. The role is available, the competition is beatable, and Bennett has the pass-catching upside to make a coaching staff keep him around. Do not sleep on this one. Finally, let us close with Skylar Thomas, the safety out of Oregon State, and this one is a case where the numbers tell a very clear story about a player who has done everything asked of him at the college level and is now ready to see if those skills translate. 3-year starter for the Beavers, nearly 50 career games played, almost 200 career tackles, 14 career pass breakups, a forced fumble, and draft analyst Dane Brugler gave him a 7th-round grade, meaning he was considered a legitimately draftable prospect who simply did not get selected. That distinction matters. There is a big difference between a player who does not get drafted because he cannot play and a player who does not get drafted because teams ran out of picks. Skylar Thomas falls firmly in the second category. The safety room in Chicago coming into 2026 is one of the more fascinating position groups on the roster. Dylan Thieneman was just drafted in the first round and is clearly your long-term future at the position. Elijah Hicks is a proven special teams contributor. Cam Lewis is more of a safety nickel hybrid who could be deployed in multiple ways. The question of whether the Bears carry 5 safeties on the final roster depends heavily on how Lewis's role is defined and whether Thomas can make a compelling case for a roster spot through the summer. His special teams experience is the key selling point here. Brugler specifically highlighted his special teams skill set as one of the primary reasons he believes Thomas will find a home in the NFL. And given that special teams coordinator Richard Hightower has consistently been one of the best in the business, having a safety who has played a ton of football and can contribute on coverage units is exactly the kind of player that earns roster spots that nobody outside the building sees coming. Thomas ran a 4.6 in the 40-yard dash, which is passable for an NFL safety. There are plenty of guys playing meaningful snaps in this league who ran similar times. His aggressiveness working through contact, his experience and ball skills, and his special teams versatility make him a genuine candidate to fight for a spot come final cuts. This is the kind of player that disappears into training camp in July and then suddenly shows up on the 53-man roster announcement in late August while everyone is trying to figure out who he is and why the Bears kept him over someone else. Skylar Thomas is that guy. Mark it down. And as a bonus, keep an honorable mention eye on Squirrel White, the wide receiver who transferred to Florida State after productive years at Tennessee. He brings legitimate speed and return ability that could make him interesting on special teams and in a receiver room that is still sorting out its depth chart. There is always the possibility that a guy with his athleticism finds a way to contribute when it matters. The bottom line for Bears fans heading into rookie minicamp is this. The 53-man roster is not built in the draft. It is never built entirely in the draft. It is built in the weight room, on the practice field, in the film room, and in training camp competitions where undrafted players with something to prove show NFL coaches things that polished prospects sometimes do not. Caden Barnett has the athletic tools and the guaranteed money that says the Bears believe in him. Jaden Loving has the movement ability and the positional runway to develop into a real contributor. Hayden Large has the unique skill set that Ben Johnson's creative offense can actually use. Coleman Bennett has the pass-catching upside to compete for a genuinely open roster spot. And Skylar Thomas has the experience, the toughness, and the special teams value that keeps players in the league. These 5 names might not be on the back of anyone's jersey at the opener in September, but do not be shocked if at least 1 or 2 of them are. That is all for today's episode of Bears Focus. Before you go anywhere, I need 3 things from you right now. Hit that like button if you think at least one of these UDFAs makes the 53-man roster. Drop a comment below and tell me which one you are most excited about, and if you think there's someone we missed in this class, let us know down there too. And if you have not subscribed to Bears Focus yet, you are going to want to fix that immediately, because Rookie Minicamp is coming up this week and we are going to have complete coverage of everything that comes out of Halas Hall. Winners, losers, standouts, surprise signings, all of it. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and ride with us through every step of what is shaping up to be the most exciting Bears offseason in over a decade. My name is your host, this is Bears Focus, and as always, Bear Down Chicago.
Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.